Anyways, moving on to Newton's second law of motion, and that is that the force of an object is equal to the object's mass times its acceleration or speed, which basically means that something has more mass. If something has more mass, it's going to take a lot more force to move it. So just very simple. Have you ever tried to pick up a heavy box? Well, of course you have. It takes a lot of energy or force, obviously. You think of the deadlift, and you have to pull significantly harder than you would need to pull or lift or apply force for a box even half of its size. Now, if you just apply the same idea to sports, if something is lighter and you give it a kick or force, it's going to accelerate much more rapidly away from you than, say, something like a baseball or a hockey puck. As these are heavier and have more mass, they need a lot more force to get them to fly the same distance. Now, this is important in sports because the mass or weight of a piece of equipment determines how far it will go when you apply the force. So, basketballs, soccer balls, volleyballs, beach balls, these tend to be lighter and have less mass. But things like baseballs and hockey pucks need the batter or hockey player to pull back their stick before hitting the ball or the puck. So the action of pulling back the arm and the stick gives them a greater force or greater centrifugal force, propelling it further and faster. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. But for now, let's talk about momentum in exercise. So, one of the most common mistakes made during strength training is the use of momentum. Now, for everyday movements, and even many athletic movements, the use of momentum is normal, adaptive, and in many cases necessary to generate more force to propel the object further and faster. It is the body's way of conserving energy, particularly during running, throwing, or pushing. However, during strength training or muscle building, momentum is counterproductive. Now, this is because it decreases the work that a muscle does, thereby decreasing the effectiveness of the exercise. And what's worse is it's dangerous to the joints and the spinal cord since it overloads these areas, causing unnecessary wear and tear, let's say. Now, to understand what the use of momentum looks like during strength training, picture a ball with a string with a ball suspended from it. Now, the muscle joint is the point of rotation, or the top of the string, and the leg, arm, or torso, with or without the weight, is the ball at the end of the string. Now, picture the ball swinging back and forth at the end of the string like a hypnotist would use. Basically the old pendulum. Now, when momentum is used during strength training, the exercise is characterized by this same swinging motion. The bicep curls, all these things. The exerciser who's doing whatever momentum movement may appear to be bouncing or swaying their whole body. Now, one exercise in which momentum is very easy to see and basically always employed is the back extension. So when momentum is used, the person exercising looks like they're dropping their torso due to gravity, and then they swing up. Now, that swing up is only stopped by the mechanical limits of the spine, and of course this technique fails to actually train the erector spinal muscles and places dangerous loads on the spine. So it's basically, once again, just an easy example of somebody swinging up and down and not actually training the muscle group that they're attempting to train. Cheap bicep curl is another simple example to follow.